We are in Manjo in the littoral region of Cameroon to carry out a wildlife arrest and to rescue a baby chimp which our investigator reported to be in an illegal detention. With wildlife officials and the forces of law and order of Manjo, we succeeded to nab the traffickers at the reception of a hotel. The chimp was in captivity with a chain tied round its waist for months, rendering it more vulnerable and traumatized. It was in a state of shock, so much such that it refused to eat or drink anything we offered to her. I spent the whole night taking care of the chimp in my hotel room. It gradually accepted to eat and trusted me, moving from one corner of the room to another. It was so much fun, especially having a roommate who found the television set attractive. It was indeed an Android chimp. In collaboration with the Limbe Wildlife Center, a delegation made up of the conservator, the vet, and a primatologist came the following day to Manju to attend and transport the baby chimp to the Limbe Wildlife Center. Unfortunately, the baby chimp died one day after its arrival at the sanctuary. The news of its death was very devastating to the entire Laga team. However, it only gave us an added impetus to continue with the fight. Shortly after we lost the previous baby chimp, our investigations led us to a town called Ambam, some 320 kilometers away from our office to rescue this cutie chimp. We traveled for close to 4 hours to Ambam in the southern part of Cameroon via a public bus as usual to rescue the baby chimp. Together with wildlife officials and the gendarmerie, we stormed at the home of the unscrupulous wildlife trafficker for a house search. We met him in his sitting room, relaxing and conversing with a visitor who surprisingly also happened to be one of the traffickers we were tracking. The trade in baby chimp is rampant and fuels the bushmeat market because the illegal trade in baby chimps generally starts with the killing of their mothers, whose parts are trafficked to supply the clandestine and illegal bushmeat market. In order to curb illegal bushmeat trade in protected species, we assure the arrest and prosecution of those involved in wildlife trafficking. We proceeded with our search and found the baby chimp that was hid in the toilet of the trafficker's home. When the baby chimp saw us, he jumped with great joy by raising his body up and down, a sign that he was as much as happy as we were, even though he was still afraid. Noticing that he was playful, we equally played with him in order to take away his fears as well as for him to calm down.
Laisse d'abord. Laisse. Joue un peu. Joue un peu. Pour qu'il se calme d'abord.
Ils sont arrivés.
Before we found the chimp, we had found bags behind the main door of the house that contained 80 kilograms of pangolin scales. The wildlife law of Cameroon clearly states that anyone who is caught in possession of a live or dead protected species is punishable by law. There is therefore zero tolerance.
Fais le quoi? On vous prend tout. Vous n'êtes pas vous n'êtes pas là. Vous allez là pour que je suis bien là.
Oui, ils ont les sacs, les écailles, les pangolins.
Calmez-vous, monsieur. Si vous êtes visiteur, vous allez expliquer après. Calmez-vous.
Je regarde encore bien.
The two traffickers were arrested while the gendarme officer called his captain to inform him of the successful operation. It was time for me to know the health history of the chimp.
Hein? À toi.
Vous avez vu ça?
Et vous avez, qu'est-ce que vous lui avez donné à manger depuis ce temps? La banane.
Before we took the baby Chin with us, the two arrested Cameroonian wildlife traffickers confessed to us that there were two additional traffickers that were involved in the deal. We lured over them to call and tell the two other traffickers that they had sold the baby Chin alongside the pangolin scales, and as such, they could come for their own share of the money. The third trafficker of Niger nationality came on a bike to the wildlife crime scene and was also arrested as he attempted to run by the gendarme officers who were securing the crime scene. The fourth trafficker, whom we suggested to have gotten bad vibes of the crime scene, never showed up. It was time for me to hand over the camera and take full care of the baby Chin, who immediately gripped me round my waist as we prepared to board the gendarmerie car and leave the crime scene alongside with the three traffickers to the delegation of Forestry and Wildlife of Ambam. The 1994 Wildlife of Cameroon clearly states that anyone who is caught with a live or dead protected wildlife species is punishable by the law. It is on this count that the three traffickers were taken to the delegation of Forestry and Wildlife of Ambam for further interrogation. On arrival at the delegation, we took intensive care of the baby Chin, whom we placed under our full observation and supervision. Our first check was to examine his appetite for food, his state of shock, his body temperature, and if he was dehydrated. He danced each time he sucked the orange, and we named him Mr. Orange Guy. We frequently played with him and showered him with love and care. As he sat and played around the main office where the three traffickers were also sitting in wait for their statements to be taken, we noticed that the Chin was still in fears. We immediately separated him from them and the crowd that popped in and out of the main office of the delegation to stare at him. We moved him to the office of the Chief of Wildlife, where I introduced him to Banana, his second meal of the day. He ate with so much appetite and joy like a baby whom had been starved for a long time. It was exactly what he experienced in the hands of his capturer. After feeding him to his satisfaction, I led him to eat and to play on his own like a baby that he was, under my watchful eyes. We later brought him outside of the office to give him more water, as well as to play and spend more time with him. At night, we replaced his diaper, fed him with banana, orange, and water. In order for him not to feel lonely, we made night shifts from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, and from 12 midnight to 2 a.m.
Don't, I know carry you. No, no. Don't want to stay. Sit down.
Oh my God! He was such a lovely and playful baby who didn't know when to play and when not to play. The baby Chin insisted in his request for us to play, but I succeeded to an extent to turn down his offer because I wanted him to reserve his energy for the journey we were to undertake in the morning to travel to Yaoundé. Yaoundé, the capital city of Cameroon, where he will be rehabilitated at the Vogbesi Zoo. On the next day in the morning, which was the day of our departure to the Vogbesi Zoo in Yaoundé, we started the day with mother and child bonding, just like the dead mother would have done if she was alive. We later changed his diaper and fed him. 3 persons had to jointly replace his diaper because the whole thing was not just new to him, he was also hyperactive. One person held his hands, another held his feet, while another wore him the diaper and a pant to reinforce the diaper to stay on his buttocks. As soon as his diaper was changed, he resorted to playing. We played and shared quality time together while waiting on the divisional delegate of Forestry and Wildlife of the Ntem Valley Division to prepare and issue the necessary documents for the transfer of the baby chim to the Vogbeti Zoo. We continued to play and enjoy the presence of one another while waiting on the delegate to finish with the establishment of his transfer documents to the Vogbeti Zoo. It was very important for us to have the documents which were to serve as his identification papers along the road from Ambam to Yaoundé at the police and the gendarmerie checkpoints. At about 9 a.m., the necessary documents for our set journey were done and we were called to set out for Yaoundé together with the Chief of Wildlife of Ambam. We set out on the journey carrying a first aid kit composed of Orasol, paracetamol, flagyl, and a plastic bag of food that included bananas, oranges, apples, candies, milk, and water for the chim. Meanwhile, the traffickers signed their offense statements and were taken and kept behind bars at the Gendarmerie Company of Ambam. On arrival at the Vogbeti Zoo, the Verb at the Mefu Ape Sanctuary, our sister organization was there to welcome and assist us with the baby chim.
You are the best.
Just like these other apes, that is Sandy, Farah, Mintom, and the other chimps caged in a tiny cage. Mr. Orange Guy is now at his new home, where nobody will try to hurt him or sell him ever after. Mintom's rehabilitation at the Mefu Ape Sanctuary was a remarkable one. We drove together from our office at Bastos to the sanctuary on the next day after his rescue from a trafficker who traveled some 588 kilometers away just to sell him in Yaoundé. Larry, the deputy director of Ape Action Africa, and his crew released the mandrill from the basket and put it for quarantine. They named it Mintom, the name of the town from where the trafficker bought it in order to sell it in Yaoundé. I seized the opportunity to pay some visits, first to Sandy.
So normally in the wild, they will stay with their mother even up to 7 years before they're really independent. So it's something which she'll need to have surrogate mothers for a very long time. And normally we'll keep it like this, one alone for about 3 months for quarantine and for baby care, and then when it's a bit older, maybe around 1, we have, depending on the age of the baby group, we'll introduce them to the other babies. Yeah. But it's something 24 hours a day they're with them. That's why there's 2. They take shifts. One sleeps, one stays with the baby, gives them milk in the night.
And later to Farah.
So we have a baby group with some babies just a bit bigger than him. When he finishes his quarantine, he's had his health checked, he had his blood tested, and he will be introduced there. And he'll have they have 2 caregivers there. He'll become his surrogate mothers.
These apes are freed. Free from the bushmeat market trade, and free from the thoughts of those who consider them as delicacy.